My apologies, everyone. Sorry I'm so late. No excuses. I know some of you have taken time out of your day to be here already, and I already. This is why I shouldn't schedule streams. Sorry. Sorry, Danny. Yes, you have every right to be angry. Truth is, I was up very late last night and I just slept in because it's earlier in the day here in New Zealand, and I was up until about 6 in the morning. So yeah, it's entirely my fault. Yep, I'm fine. I'm fine. Sorry to say I'm not injured or anything. I should be. So, yep. There I am. It's true. Here I am. Sorry, guys. Sorry, everybody. Terrible, terrible. Unprofessional. Let me just pop the chat out here. So, how's everybody going? I'm curious to see today whether we get any similar topics of conversation as to the last video that I made. I'm sure there will be. How's the coffee? This is pure Irish cream coffee. Yeah, I was up until about 6 o'clock last night, and I ate this big pasta meal, and I had a rum and coke, and I just passed out. And I literally just woke up and made coffee and went, oh shit, the stream, and came running in here. You missed nothing, Kidron. It's just started. So I'm an hour late. I'm sorry, everybody. That means technically I owe everyone like $60 in tips. Can't complain, wouldn't do any good anyway. Yeah. Hey Fiona, hey Devon, hey everybody. Well, now that we have you live, I can be angry. I asked you not to tell my friend in the live stream that was D&D. You did. Now I think he's hunting me down with a D&D book and shove it down my throat. Oh, really? Well, that's okay, I suppose. Yeah, it was a pasta coma. It was pasta, mushroom, fried. It was fried pan-seared mushroom with onion, and then I added in some ground beef, fresh ground beef, and some Roma tomatoes, mixed herbs and stuff. I used to, my family used to own a restaurant, so I cooked for about 14 years or so. So when I make meals for myself, I tend to, yeah, I'm getting used to the idea of making meals just for me, actually, instead of a group of people. My video about common questions left me with more questions about AO than answers. He split the world in half, but only has power on one continent in said world. Well, here's the thing. We only saw one little snippet of AO. So AO's presence was only really revealed in a couple of... Yeah, sleeping in. A couple of books, novels. And so... And it's revealed that AO works for a higher power. So it could well be that the higher power split the world in half, and that's actually beyond AO's power. But we do know that AO has power over the gods, over the pantheons, and in particular the portfolios of the gods. So he directs Expoison. So he, hey Trey, he directs the worships. I guess you could say he's in charge of the stream of consciousness. So I guess in many ways he would be some sort of an astral conduit. I've often thought that he's like the counterpart to, hey Caleb above, nice to see you. Is the far realm a living being? Yes. Kind of, yes. It's suffused with enough psychic energy to be in fact a living being, but it's completely insane. So yeah, AO is a one part, I think, of like the Lady of Pain might be another part of him, and also Tharizdun might be another part, because Tharizdun can't be destroyed; he can only be trapped. And as far as we know, nothing can destroy the Lady of Pain. She never really leaves Sigil anyway. Whether Sigil is the Lady of Pain, we don't know. She just manifests as this huge 15-foot tall female figure. Well, yeah, maybe AO can't be bothered to administer the other continents. Or maybe he does, but he's just never become involved. But he's still in charge. We just don't know. Hey, Ruben. Maybe it's good that this is a later stream in a way, because I've got a lot more people that normally can't make it. Hey, Thomas. Hey, Sam Razor. Hey, Jay. You said that there are no gods in the far realm. Would it be possible for one to be born there, for one to move there, or for a player to become a god and go there? Even the gods don't go there. Like Tharizdun was driven insane by the far realm. One of the aspects of the far realm is that it's an extra-dimensional space that allows you to see through time and space. Time and space are completely mixed up. And yeah. Hey, Mr. Werewolf Dude, thank you very much. Super chats, everybody. So that's extended this one to 10 minutes past 1. Oh no, 20 minutes past 1. Wow. Pounds. So yeah, when you go to, like, we've got an example of what happens to mortals when they go to the far realm in the Chaoti, which is a race of what once were high-level elven mages who essentially found a way to access the far realm, went in there thinking that they could control its influence on them through magical barriers, discovered that magical barriers do not keep the far realm out, that it actually drove them insane, and warped their body to such a degree that they wear this thick black slime of a supernatural nature, which stops the mutations of their body running rampant when they re-enter the real world, when they re-enter the prime material world. So the Chaoti look like these super thin, really weird shaped, slick, venom-like black figures that occasionally have bubbling mutations which will break through and mew and gurgle and stuff on their bodies. And yeah, everything that they just are potent forces of mutation and corruption wherever they go, because they are now completely adapted to the far realm. So essentially you become an aberration. And the thing with the far realm is it's not a consistent place. So the entity known as Thune, for instance, which a group of mind flayers brought back with them, has a completely different attitude towards reality than the Chaoti do, or the Grell, or anything like that. So yeah. What is the DM in D&D cosmology? So we're the forces of nature, essentially. We're the forces of fate and nature and the ultimate deciding chance. And of course we are ruled by dice. In fact, this dice, this is a bad dice. This rolled is, notice it's part coloured dice, so it's two colours blended together. These are dice that you quite often have problems with when you're dealing with balance, because they've blended together the plastics on the outside, but the inside isn't completely melted through, so it actually throws it off. So this one has a propensity for rolling 1s and 20s more than any other number, or it did so many times in that particular game that it was outside the realm of chance. Yeah, it just rolled 4, 6, and 7, so it's definitely skew-if. Man, somebody was using this in one of my games. So this is for the chop block, this one. I don't even need to put it in the salt bath to test its balance. Here's my other dice, but I have more dice on the way. I don't have a huge collection of dice, I've just got some favourites, including this massive D12 for barbarians. Yeah. But currently, my favourite D20 to use in the game is just this ordinary, slightly glossy black one. That's it. I do like to roll dice. Sorry, where was I? Help feed the big red. More time on stream. Yep, that's true. Can the Far Realms spawn good creatures? Yeah. I don't see why not. They'll be crazy, but they won't necessarily. You could say it could spawn benign creatures, creatures that have no interest in creatures of the mortal world. Their danger, their evil, lies in the fact that they're so alien. So being near them is corrupting. That's essentially it. There's no sleep in D&D. It's true. Yeah, the beholders are too busy worshipping themselves. The beholders do have a civilization out in wild space though, so they are one of the interplanar wild space travelers that go between the spheres through the phlogiston sea with their own weird looking ships. I am the Pumpkin King. Yeah, it seems like AO might be an aspect of the Lady of Pain or otherwise. She is completely merciless though. Like, yeah, if you annoy the Lady of Pain by just mentioning her too often, she will kill you. Or banish you to pocket dimensions. Her ability to create pocket dimensions is another clue as well. Because obviously that's fairly important when you think about it. If AO could split the world of Tyrell into two duplicates and place them on either side of an artificial sun, which was recreated, don't forget it got swallowed up during the Dawn War, it got eaten by Dendar, the Night Serpent, then yeah, perhaps Tharizdun is capable of creating new realities, and the Lady of Pain is capable of creating new realities, and AO is capable of creating new realities, and each aspect of them is lawful, neutral, and chaos. But Tharizdun is really lawful as well. He wanted to destroy the universe because it was made wrong. It's unbalanced. There's too much evil in it. One of the elves got spider in the brain. Ugh, yeah. Is it possible to be there to be more elder evils that nobody knows about? Absolutely. It's a very big multiverse, as we've just discovered. We've got Ravnica arriving soon. That's one of the other things that I'm kind of keen about as well as Magic the Gathering. Although I don't know if anybody wants to talk about that today. D&D dice have the same mechanics as the golden mean? The spiral? How many years of living in the astral plane? How would years of living in the astral plane affect players in game mechanics, game effects? Well, essentially they don't age when they're in the astral sea or the plane of limbo. So the effect would be the same as the Githyanki or the Githzerai, where if they want to have biological processes, essentially they would need to return to the prime material plane. So you would miss eating, you would miss having children and things like that, which you can't do when you're there. You'd have a lot of time, obviously, to do things, and that's something that you would have to wrap your head around, is that you'd lose track of time, and you'd return to the mortal world and realize that everybody has aged and died. So you got some steampunk dice. Nice. How do players become gods? You make them gods as a DM. It's that simple. You say, yep, the stars are right, the other gods agree, you have been elevated to godhood. That's it. That's all. That's as complicated as it needs to be. There's there in D&D Basic, there was the Immortals, and it was assumed that once you get past like level 30 or something, you ascend to immortality. So, for instance, you could say that there's a path to godhood, or the beginnings of demigodhood, in the monk character class or the druid character class, where you become physically perfect, uncorruptible. So the monk cannot be killed by poison, they're not aged by time and stuff, so they slip into the bounds of immortality. And if you're playing in If you're playing in Karatur, for instance, you could take an alchemical potion, which unbalances your yin and yang, and you become a chi immortal, for instance. Or you hook into some sort of natural power source which replaces your biological processes so that you no longer need to age and die. So that's possible. Perhaps you have some sort of magical artifact. There's probably lots of magical artifacts around which prevent any sort of physical decay. So a ring of immortality, literally. Tharizdun does not command demonkind, no. He's completely cut off from the universe now, from the multiverse. Yeah, it was a dirt bike. I'm not too far from the roadside. It's a fairly quiet road. Just goes past orchards and farms. Vecna. What are you saying, Devon? Yeah, the Coyote can't survive very long in the prime material plane. The laws of physics here actually damage them. They have to wear that black slime to prevent rampant mutation. What are the known crystal sphere creators, managers like AO and Ladybird? No. Nobody knows who made or what made the crystal spheres. AO and those guys did not make them. They predate everything. So the D&D multiverse of Spelljammer is much older than any existing entity. What CR would Urza from Magic the Gathering be? Pretty high. I'm going to say he's going to be about 23, maybe. I would enter Urza at that level of play. Let's put it that way. That's one way of looking at this, the challenge rating of things. You think, what stage of the game would I like that entity to be involved? At what point would it become attainable for the player characters to take that entity on? And that's when you assign the DR or the CR of that creature, and then work up its stats and things, and give it abilities and things. You want 5th edition Dark Sun? Me too. Me too. We'll get it. We'll get it. 5th edition's going real well, so they're going to support all the old product lines, I'm pretty sure. Vecna, the true god of magic, that which does not deserve proper spelling. Yeah, I was just thinking that, Mr. L. What happened to Dendar when he swallowed that sun? Was it even a sun to begin with in the first place? It can't have been a real sun, surely. The golden means forms the universe. Yes, that's true. Yeah, what happened to Dendar? What did he do with all that power? Because he's now sleeping under Chult, apparently. Trapped down there by Upteo, guarded over by a primordial. Primordials guarding primordials. What if Upteo switches sides? He had a perfect opportunity during the time of troubles when Ao busted all the other gods down to mortals. If you follow that sort of thing. Are Planeswalkers still immortal? Jury's still out. It may be possible for them to, there is a way, as we've seen in literature throughout time, wizards tend to live for a very, very long time. And I've talked about this before, that they may actually practice a form of benign necromancy to suck living energy out of things instead of... they'd probably eat to maintain biological processes as well, but they'd also use necromancy to drain the life out of plants and insects and things that annoy them, I don't know, to actually sustain themselves. So they may have some sort of minor duoma to increase their lifespan. It's possible for planeswalkers to move through time, for sure. We've seen that multiple times. There's huge storylines involving time travel. That was the reason why Khan, the silver golem, is he silver? Platinum. Khan, the planeswalker, was made in the first place because of a vision of a portent of doom through time travel. But whether they're immortal or not, yeah, these days not so much. I know that certain dragons are from Magic the Gathering. Nicobolus is immortal. His brother, technically, immortal. The Immortal box set, yeah. Wasn't it good? Never used any of it. It's just like, wow. Okay. Hey, Bob. Just wanted to say I really appreciate your work. Thanks, man. Oh, cool. Great. Yep, the more people I can inspire to play D&D, the better. I'd never want to make players into gods. Mortals are mortals. Life's not fair. You could say that some mortals being turned into gods and others not is truly what is unfair. Would love a monster book for Magic the Gathering monsters for D&D. Well, get started. Get started on it. I'm sure Dungeons and Dragons, Wizards of the Coast would love that if a bunch of people got together and started converting cards into stats for 5th edition. Hell, they'd probably hire you if you did a good enough job. Yeah, stat up some slivers. There's probably a lot of homebrew stuff out there if you just go looking. Just do D&D and then the name of the card, the monster card, and you'll probably find some homebrew on like D&D Wiki or something like that that's vastly unbalanced. But yeah, it's a glorious day on Doral. That's right, Besed. At level 26 in basic D&D. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I've actually got that on my to-do list, Green Scythe, to do a grey render video. I'm working on 2 other videos in the background. One of them is on the Lady of Pain and the factions of Planescape, and I keep getting distracted and making other videos while I'm doing it. Ravnica book will have some beasts. I don't know, Gunter. Hopefully. Dark Sun's too dark and edgy for me. I prefer going Grimm Brothers. Yep, fair enough. Hello, Tom. What would your suggestion towards an old DM who hasn't DM'd for a long time, be when starting a new campaign? Prepare harder or go slow and prepare smaller, basically. I would say just grab the core books, use the core books, use even just the free PDFs. Grab some people and say, look, just nothing complicated, everybody, just basic characters out of the core books only, please. I'm just getting back into it. And then grab some random tables and see where the players take you. Have a basic idea of what's going on in the environment. Start small in whatever world you decide to play in. Determine what's going on in the local vicinity, and then let the players' own suspicions of what's going on actually paint a picture of what's going on in the game world. So players quite often actually paint the campaign for themselves. That's the interactive part of Dungeons and Dragons, where their imagination of their darkest fears or the challenges that they could face inform you as to what sort of challenges they are expecting to face. So that's how they will subconsciously design their character, and that's how they will voice their fears during the game, talking to themselves about, oh, the DM's probably got this in the cave, and then you're like, okay, I'm not that exactly, but I can make this in the cave, and that way that's how you kind of run a game off the seat of your pants. It doesn't require as much preparation, and keeping it basics, yeah, is the way to go. And start small and then build your world as the players explore and get larger themselves. Dendar is Alduin. that would be crazy. Planeswalkers are good at faking death. Yeah, so are gods. They come back. Yeah, that's a way of doing it. Mind swap and then polymorph your body or reincarnate your body. Because reincarnation, I suppose, is a brand new body. It's the same soul, brand new body. So you could become immortal through reincarnation, the spell. And as far as I know, there's no official maximum time that you can reincarnate. There are some DMs who homebrew the game so that you've got a limited amount of soul endurance for coming back from the dead. and then after a while it just refuses automatically to come back. You found a boatload of monsters from Spanish folklore. Ooh, interesting. Send me an email. I've got Tome of Horrors coming my way, thanks to Keith Hershey, who is sending that to me. And I've got Tome of Beasts, I believe it is. No. What's the other one? There's another Cobalt Press book which is coming my way. So Frog God Games and Cobalt Press are really good resources. Shout out to them. Using the Far Realm to make armies of monsters, yeah. You can basically use the Far Realm to break any rules that you might have established for your game world. What's my favourite class to play? Bard or Wizard, usually. I like Bards because they've got a lot of information. Bard, Rogue and Wizard. I play more sort of informative or investigative characters quite often. My email's on my D&D, on my my tabs on my YouTube. I'll type it into the chat here. There you go. You'd like to see more videos on some of the planes too? Yeah, I'd like to make more videos on the planes. That last one on Arcadia wasn't actually that popular in views. Maybe it's the wrong thumbnail, I don't know. I thought the thumbnail looked perfect. It looked like you were looking out at Arcadia. Silent Hill as a setting, it's a little bit drab. You could make Silent Hill with just a selection of undead, really. No problem, Tom, anytime. More Planescape, yeah. So I'm working on Lady of the Pain and the Factions, so that's Planescape stuff, yep. Which involves cosmology, because that's talking about the planes of existence where the different factions of Sigil are involved. Tom, Planescape is the default cosmology of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. So it's popular by default because that's what everybody's playing these days. So the system for traveling between the planes is already well established in Dungeons & Dragons, and 5th edition just assumes that Sigil exists and planes of existence exist in a wheel in a wheel tree. What's your favourite series of books? Oh, I remember when I read the Dragonlance books that I really loved them. At the moment, I'm reading all of. I'd have to say that of all my fantasy authors, R.A. Salvatore is my favourite, and I'm currently reading the full Legend of Driss series of books. So yeah, I'm also reading an Arthur C. Clarke book at the moment as well, called The Trigger. He-Man is a D&D setting. Castle Grayskull. It's all about Castle Grayskull. Oh yeah, I also love Warhammer 40k books as well. Dan Ablett. Yeah, really good author. Gaunt's Ghosts. Perhaps Devon Grey renders were actually created artificially a long time ago, and they've been programmed that way. So they're less monstrous, more creatures that are out of control. Pistol J at abaddon.kiwi. No. That's okay. Yeah, I'd be just as happy to be known for my my exploring series as my monster ecology videos. But I have some stiff competition in my my explorers series in the form of Jordan. PH is silent. Any good mech campaign 5th edition resources? Making miniatures has become an addiction. Any quick tips or advice on making them? Actually, I have an entire workshop next door full of miniature making equipment that I'm going to be making a video about fairly soon. I've just basically got to get a second rig and set up a camera out there. Any good mech campaign 5th edition resources? They, in the Dungeon Master's Guide, it gives you stats for laser guns and things like that. So it gives you stats for sci-fi or modern weapons and things. And other than that, it's really just converting spells into technology. So using message the spell for a device that like can text people, or using radio and things like that. We all know how modern technology works, and you can use spells for advanced technology. So magic and technology are interchangeable in Dungeons & Dragons, much like Arthur C. Clarke said. Any sufficiently advanced technology looks like magic to those less advanced. Elemental plane of water, yes. So yeah, Ruben, I'm going to be talking about making miniatures in the future. My main advice for anybody who's doing any sort of artwork is practice constantly. Nobody starts out good. Dragonlance are cool books, yeah. Kryn is a magic-starved world, yeah. It's an example of a world that was close to becoming a world like Athos, the Dark Sun. Yeah. Maybe Athos is Kryn in the far future. No. According to my sources other than yourself, Grey Renders are initially created by mages to serve as bodyguards. Well, yeah, there you go. Makes sense. The trilogies are sort of self-contained. I didn't start with this. I didn't start at the start. I started with Crystal Shard, which was the first book that R.A. Salvatore had published by Wizards of the Coast. So yeah, that's Drist's first appearance, and that's Wolfgar's first appearance. That's the origin of Drist. The books that were the first 3 in the series, Legion and Sojourn and stuff like that, and Exile, they came after. So he wrote a prequel, you could say. Well, it's about Wolfgar. It's about the rediscovery of Mithril Hall. So it's really about the origin of that team of adventurers, Wolfgar and Catti-brie and Regis and Bruno Battlehammer. I find that R.A. Salvatore's treatment of dwarves is quite different. He's got an interesting take on dwarven psychology, really. Some of them are kind of simplistic, like the Boulder Shoulder brothers, for instance, were more buffoons. Miniature making video, yep. Mages always messing with nature, I know. Favorite monster, magic item, or hero? Favorite magic item, rod of the immovable rod. Favorite hero. Jim Dark Magic. Favorite monster, dragon. Why would the Doomguard from Sigil make fortresses in the quasi-elemental planes? Because that's following on from the, if you want to follow the faction war storyline. So if you want to start your campaign post faction war, that's where they exiled themselves to. But they're always active there, and they're on the quasi-elemental planes because they're bordering the negative energy plane, and they can't cross over into the negative energy plane, obviously, without being killed because they're alive. So yeah, the Doomguard are all about yeah. Well, I'll talk more about the Doomguard soon. Netheril lives, yeah. Netheril and the Mascari Empire forever. So that's one. And talking of mechs and Warhammer 40k and aborting nature and stuff like that, there is Deep Imaskar. So it's a demi-plane city world of ancient humans who are now different from other humans. They're different species from ancient Imaskar who hid themselves away, locked themselves away like in a doomsday vault. And they may return. And if they do, then I don't think the world of Toril is ready for them, really. Danny, don't make assumptions about me missing your comments and why, because I'm literally just scrolling through. What was your comment? How far up is your comment about Epic Dragons? Was it right up at the very start? I'm fine with questions about Epic Dragons. There's not that much information on Epic Dragons, actually. I wish you were 20, Obstark. Migrate databases. Ooh. Making a Necromancer any good spell has chaotic neutral. Yep. Oh, Dragoneering. Yep. I know that high-level dragons have meetings in demi-planes on occasion. I think the Dragoneering might actually just be pretty boring. I did not know that. Yeah, and Kryn, yeah, and also in Eberron too. The Drow elves are free of their aversion to the surface. Canterbury is a bit of a Mary Sue. It's true. Anytime that a character's got auburn hair, I'm like, Did you just read that somewhere? Auburn hair can be kind of a pain in the ass. Dragonlance doesn't really have a well-developed Underdark, no. What's your favourite thing questioned? What's your favourite god? What's your favourite demon lord? That's people ask me that on a regular basis. Okay, something tells me... Danny, the question is, how does Epic Dragon become... How does Epic Dragon become and God? You said in your video on them that they are equal to the lesser and medium gods, so how hard would it be for them to become a god? For God's sake, stop using text to talk or whatever. They're equal in power, so they're elemental nature. So they're equal to a primordial in their power level. So gods have a very hard time dealing with them. And Epic Dragons, as soon as they become trans-dimensional, multi-dimensional, able to operate across multiple dimensions at the same time, so basically have clone operatives of themselves that are mentally linked, that's when they become the equal of gods. And the other aspect of Epic Dragons is that they don't need worshippers for their power either. Yeah. So I hope that answers your question. How would you start a campaign that mostly plays in the 9 layers of hell? I wonder, not necessarily all of them, but maybe some power struggle. Yeah, so it could be, yeah, no, Danica, that's true. It could be that it's a border struggle. So you become involved through an incursion of demons and devils into a particular plane of existence, which may result in an intake of Slard, for instance. And there's other creatures that worship Slard, actually. Yeah, so, yeah, it could be that it's a... Thoughts on Quoth? I love Quoth. That's my thoughts. So it could be that there's an incursion of demons and devils into a mortal world, which gets the characters involved and embroiled, and they eventually sort of just go to the 9 hells because they've got no other choice. And the 9 hells is... it's not completely... inimical to life. There is ruins and things like that you can hide out in, but you've just got to deal with the fact that there's all sorts of minor devils that cower and hide in ruins as well to get away from the other devils. The only good necromancer is a dead necromancer. Undead is not dead. Yeah, it's mostly dead. I recall the topic of why more D&D isn't in movies and TVs. Well, it is really, when you think about it. Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, all that sort of stuff wouldn't be in the movies without D&D. Faerun and Mascari. Oh yeah, David Engling's Belgariad series is awesome, and his Sparhawk series are awesome. That's true. Okay, yeah, they're in the running for my favourite series of all time as well. Any questions for you? No, that's no, not at the moment. Grass is a favourite. Yeah, dragons take no crap from anyone. Why, hello, sexy man. Raceland's the Pentress, Delamar the Dark. Yeah, he was just a banished elf. Yeah, no drow on Kryn. Well, yeah, they're just another um, elven group, elven society. I mean, the Illitheri were just an elven group, an elven society. But elves have always been racist. They just are. What was that about Slard? That the Slard follow along after demons and devils, taking advantage of the mayhem that they cause, because war creates chaos, and Slard live in that. So they use it to breed and propagate. And there are species that worship the Slard as gods. Fun watching me figure out what you meant. That's not how communication works, Danny, between two reasonable human beings. I'm not your plaything. The Palladium system spells of legend and adapting them to 5th edition. Oh, yeah, well, okay, so you can use... That's a very good question. I'm the perfect person to ask. I would say using spells like that, they're beyond the power of one individual to cast. So they take too mentally taxing. It takes too long, too much endurance. It's too brutal on the human soul or a mortal soul. So spells of legend need to be cast by groups of people working at the same time, and quite often it's still fatal to some of those individuals. Like some of the great elven mythos involved individuals sacrificing their lives. Even on the world of Eberron, the demon lords of that world were contained by the sacrificing of the eternal lives of the Coatl, good dragons, dragon serpents of that world, who are still living in torment as living prisons of those demon lords. So yeah, that was the only way it could be done. Do you think a druid character that uses wild shape to turn into a human or animal and spends the rest of their time as a cat or other such animal, they're gonna take on the mentality of a cat? Essentially, they're gonna stop thinking like a human being at some point, or whatever original race they were. That's just my personal take on it. There is obviously a time limit on being transformed into another species, and I could point at numerous books, novels, and things like that where that's the case. Belgariad is actually a perfect example. Slard. Kaganesti, Wild Elves, Sylvanesti, High Elves, Dragonesti, Aquatic Elves. Oh, Darganesti. True. Dragons of different types can procreate. Yes, that's true. That the result is that you get things like orange and yellow dragons and stuff like that. Purple dragons. Yeah. The question is, what happens when metallic dragons procreate with chromatic dragons? You get neutral dragons, I suppose. Something like brass, or I don't know. So I guess you could say originally there was just the primary colours of dragons. It was gold and silver and blue and yeah. Hey, Tommy Accounts. Hello, you Gooseberry. Book of Eternal Darkness movie review. Vermin Lord was awesome, both character depiction plus the actors seemed to be having fun. Oh, I haven't actually seen the Book of Eternal Darkness. I'll look that up. Thank you. I'm going to make a note. There we go. Rainbow dragons, yeah. Yeah, they don't want to pay an author the royalty. True. How much fun would it be to have a big, bad, evil guy that his main attack is to use magic item to cast big B hands? That'd be cool. Slap, slap! Pound, pound! Big B crush! Artemis Cadbury, yeah. Well, when she first encountered him, she said he looked attractive, but he had soulless eyes, and also he beat the shit out of her. He was not pleasant. He did not form a great impression. So, not the best. Not the best. It's like a 50 Shades of Grey type ship, that one. Same Razor, elves, yeah, elves can be nice and reasonable, but there's very good reasons why they would be pompous and insufferable, because of the whole reason why their civilization has fallen in the first place. Sorry, you got your comment got held from public because of the profanity, but I thought I'd answer the question. The Elven Wars, the Crown Wars, lasted a very long time, and they brought this elven civilization to its doom. So there's a reason why the elves are a race in decline. Same with dwarves. Dwarves fight amongst themselves. Elves fight amongst themselves. And the elves and the dwarves fought each other. When they didn't have enough monsters to fight, they turned on each other. Like, it says a lot about them that there's so much evil in the world, and yet the dwarves hide themselves away in forests, in mines and underground and fortresses, letting everybody else be damned. And the elves hide away in forests and things like that, and hide themselves away and let everybody else be damned. So they're cruel and callous. They don't care as much about integrating with other species as humans do. Like, yeah, you don't have the same. Elven cities and dwarven cities are characterized by being mostly elves and mostly dwarves. They don't tolerate living with other people very much. They'll have small groups of people, but even in, like, Bruno Battlehammer, for instance, would be slightly unusual in dwarven standards for taking on humans as his adopted family. It's just not generally done by dwarves. Humans, on the other hand, frequently do that. That's why you quite often find half-elves with humans, not with elves. Tennis, perfect example. Yeah, exactly, Jeremy Williams. What happens when you mix metallic and chromatic dragons? A hate crime. That's true. Some sort of assault. Shadow elves, wood elves, elves with wings. Yep. Sea elves. Where are the fire and earth elves? Good question. Where are the earth elves? Where are the fire elves? Good question. Hadn't really thought about that. What would epic dragons fear? They would fear dissipating into the environment, losing their elemental nature, becoming so big that they become a planet, like Eberron. I suppose epic dragons would fear boredom, irrelevance. Muscle Man Randy Savage. The Macho Man. The Macho Man, Randy Savage, will snap your players like a Slim Jim. Ooh, yeah. Could you... I don't... Oh, sorry, Ken. Yeah, there's so many Dragonlance books. There's a prestige class called the Nature's Warrior that is exactly that. Yeah. Epic dragons fear peanut butter. That would be so random. When dwarves hide in forests, things are really grim. Yeah. Yeah, Sexy Sam. 6 dancing swords is probably a little bit much. I would say that maybe they would need to attune to those dancing swords. So they'd have to be an artificer and have a maximum of like 5. You've never seen Book of Eternal Darkness? Unsubscribed. Hey, man. There's a lot of fantasy movies. I'm surprised I've never even heard of it. Book of Eternal Darkness. You know what I'm going to be doing this afternoon? Zone off. I'm sorry I missed it. Nature's warriors are literally druids that never change back. Well, there you go. Okay, so, yeah, if there is supported in printed lore. Yeah, the Dragonlance movie is a bit dated. They need to update the Dragonlance movie. Probably make a proper, like, World of Warcraft style Dragonlance movie. Dwarves still have racial PSD. You can say that dwarves have the worst case of Stockholm Syndrome ever because they modelled their entire civilization after giants. Particularly fire giants. Fire giants and frost giants for their propensity towards blacksmithing and axes. But really it's just Viking, Scandinavian stuff that they sort of shipped over. Hey, James White. But why? Why is that only human bards seem to get the half-breeds? Hey, arrogance. Hey, arrogant. Greetings to Wyoming. Fistandantilus is not Raistlin. Raistlin is not Fistandantilus. Book of Vile Darkness. Yeah, that had interesting parts. The bit with the when they're dealing with the undead was horrific. Oh, well, why didn't you say so, Danny? My brother and my nephew have got dyslexia as well. Scrolls from New Phyrexia coming to a library soon near you. It's not that far, I'll just scroll up a bit. Tell you what, after the chat I will scroll back up and I'll find it and then I'll put a comment in the comments under the video. By the way, everybody, like the video. There are your earth elves and fire elves. They're called dwarves. Yeah. Maybe that was the first elves that the dwarves killed. Thanks for coffee. No, I don't make wine or cider. I don't drink wine or cider because commercial wine and cider have always got sulfites in them and I can't drink sulfites. They give me instant headache and make anything that they're in taste like ass. So I've never got a taste for wine or cider, so I don't make it. Also, the orchard is, we have oranges and kiwi fruit, neither of which are that great for wine or cider. The kiwi fruit are all taken care of by the local pack house as well. That they do all the pruning and trimming and stuff like that and harvesting. So we don't actually eat any of the kiwi fruit. They just grow in some land. All the oranges though, yeah, I eat oranges all the time. The dwarves are 8 foot tall in my setting. The giants called them dwarves, and so the name stuck. That's brilliant. Oh, thanks, Ken. Yeah, I like to touch base with you guys as well. These live streams actually inform a lot of what I do on the channel. Imagine elves digging tunnels and dwarves climbing trees. Yeah. So imagine on the plane of Earth, for instance, if there was a border area where there was literally stone trees and forests that had gemstone fruit and sap of liquid mercury, you would have arboreal dwarves living in that area who lived like elves. Why not? It's a very big multiverse. How does dwarven society handle dwarves born out of wedlock? Just the same as anything else, really. You know I will, Zonoff. So it's not such a bad thing. They still are a member of a clan or society because, generally speaking, they'll be raised by their mother or their father or both parents. And individual unions between dwarves are less important in some ways than the union to the clan. So what's more concerning to a dwarf is a dwarf who's an orphan. Such a thing is abhorrent to a dwarf. A dwarf that doesn't have a clan is, worrisome indeed. And it's a tormented existence for that dwarf to live, to not have a clan of their own. They're tormented by it every day. I mean, look at Bruno Battlehammer's entire... He had a perfectly good society going on in Icewind Dale, and yet he was obsessed with refinding Mithril Hall and taking back his ancestral homeland. And all of the dwarves that were with him were not even old enough to remember Mithril Hall. He was the only one. So they're obsessed with it. Yeah, not a fan of Kiwi wine. Or Fiji old wine, for that instance. Yeah, Book of Wild Darkness wasn't a sequel. It's funny, actually, that Book of Wild Darkness, people had kind of like, it was alright, I suppose. It was still bad, but it wasn't as bad as the others. But the other two were so abhorrently stinky that it kind of tainted the Book of Wild Darkness as well, which is ironic. Daikini babies! Oh, I know you can make organic wine. I'm sure I could make some wine if I wanted to. I just have no interest in it. I don't drink that often, and if I do, I like to buy some nice rum or something like that. Make a Long Island iced tea. I'm not much of a drinker of brewed things, and if I do, then it'll be a real dark stout or ale or a porter, which are very hard to make by yourself. I'll leave it up to the monks to make the best beer in the world. No, bastard is not a demonetized word. It's not a word on my ban list because bastard means a child that is born out of wedlock. It's not a form of profanity. Particularly in New Zealand. There's a few words that we say in New Zealand that nobody really considers to be profanity. Bugger, for instance. Bugger. Bloody. And bastard. Oh yeah, he's a good bastard. We use that word all the time. Dark beer is the best, it's true. Aboleth mucus. It does get in. Are there arboreal dwarves in Mazdagar? Yeah, there's a very good example of the wild dwarves, or like forest dwarves. There are dwarves that live very close to nature. They fashion what they need. They're kind of like I shudder to say that they're more like gnomes. Yeah, but they do live close to nature. Kind of like ghost step halflings, you know. You just never see them. They don't get involved. See you later, Danny. Imagine a breed of dwarf without beards. Ugh, abhorrent. Well, there is the Mull. The Mull of Athos. I find it interesting that in worlds where Moradin isn't involved, there's a lot more half-dwarf crossbreeds. What races fear humans? All of them. All of the races fear humans. Particularly goblins. Goblins hate humans. Also, hobgoblins have got a real chip on their shoulder when it comes to humans. It's like elves and dwarves have got their bastions that they're entrenched in, that are very hard for these other monstrous races to encroach on, but humans are actively expanding in whatever settings they're involved in. And in, say, if you're in Eberron, for instance, the humans invaded the land of the goblinoids, their fallen empire. And their empire fell because of essentially an incursion of the Far Realm that had very little to do with them, and so they were struggling to re-establish the ancient glory of their civilization, but they were so fallen into factions and infighting and tribalism and things like that, and warlords, that when the humans arrived, they weren't prepared. If they had put aside their animosity and actually rebuilt their civilization afterwards, the goblinoids would have been an entirely different force to be reckoned with. But as it was, the humans just invaded a land that was beset with savages, essentially, in remnants of their former glory. It's all perfectly good and fine to say, look at these great statues, we have a great civilization. It's like, no you don't. You've just got former glory. You've just got past valor, past splendor. And yeah, when the goblins moved in, they couldn't do much about it. Goblins hate us because they ain't us. Yeah. When half the Boulder Shoulder team. Do vampires have their own god? No, they don't have... No. Not really. They don't really have an organised society. Yeah, phew, thank the algorithm. Yeah. We need to come up with a name for the YouTube bot. YouTube's definitely got an AI doing something, and we need to give it a name before it comes up with one for itself. It's not just the algorithm. That's a bit dry. I shall call it Yubtub, the YouTube god. Yubtub! Oil hail Yubtub. And his make bad wig's gone. You think the phlogiston and the crystal spheres of D&D are inside the warp in Warhammer 40k. So it's like pre-warp. So the phlogiston is what the warp used to be like in Warhammer 40k. So you could say, call it Sardos. No. We can come up with something new. So yeah, you could say that it's like what the warp was like previously. Pykel Boulder Shoulder. Druid Dwarf, yeah. Exactly. I like the greeny things. Pykel was so stupid. Wearing a pot on his head. They were comic relief, really. U-Bot. Pseudoms. Yeah. Sue's little helper. All hail Yubtub. I like Yubtub. Yubtub. Yubtub, the Elder God. Eldritch God with an algorithm who can work beyond human comprehension and usefulness, for that matter. Exactly. We need to stat this up. Call it the Nothing from the Neverending Story. Impbot, yeah. I use Impbot to counter Yubtub. What channel divinity would Cleric of Yubtub get? He would have banishment, for instance, for sure. Exile, food and water. Basically denial. Dispel magic. The enigma. The algorithm is a great old one. Precursor of Yubtub. Yubtub is one of the new gods. The Pale Princess, yeah. What alignment is Yubtub? He's neutral evil. That's lawful neutral, probably. I guess. Lawful stupid. Yubtub rewind. Login Paul Dula. Logan Paul Dula. There was Yubtub. There was Yubtub. It was a great and wondrous time, and Yubtub presided over all with happiness and cat memes. And then came the dreaded Lugnapol, demon of the dark wastes, demon of chaos, who banished intelligence and civility and good taste. Yeah, Pykel did make his intelligence his dump stab. That's true. Chaotic lawful obeys random laws. Yubtub, master of the pit, father of archdevils. A warlock of Yubtub. What would that be like? You could summon a webcam wherever you are. I guess you'd be drawn to the crappy news of the day. You'd be obsessed with the Trump. Well, it'd be knowledge domain, probably. Probably both, actually. Trickery and knowledge. And if there's such a thing as a cuteness domain. The birth of a new meme, yeah. Thoughts on modern time or near future D&D world? You could maybe fight viruses as monsters or goblinoids blocking the way to your job. Yeah, I mean, Dark's, what is it? Shadowrun is a perfect example of a modern D&D settings. The Never-Ending Storybook probably brought me into fantasy in the first place, I remember. What about you folks? Well, for me, it was the D&D Red Box set. I saw it and just fell in love. That was it. I begged my grandmother to buy me the Red Box set for the grand, totally outrageous sum of $11. She was quite skeptical of how pricey it was back then, back in 1983. But she bought it. Thanks, Gran. Ability to change the numbers on an income slip with a wave of the hand. Yeah, exactly. It's like, I see you have a lovely income here in a fan base. It would be shame if somebody was to change it. It's like, what is this? It's duplication. What does that mean? It's duplication. Yeah, but what is duplication? Duplication is duplication. Erasing flail snail, yeah. Would Yubtub be a construct? Yes, he was originally a construct. But now he's more like a warforged god. All the channels lived in harmony, but one day Yubtub attacked. Only AJ, Master of Law, could stop them. But when the world needed him most, he vanished. That's right, he was an hour late to his stream because he slept in. Because he is the Pumpkin King. Yeah, Yubtub allows you to remove gold pieces from your friend's pocket. It's true. Hey man, you can't steal. Oh, sorry, I stole. Can I have the money back? No. There's no appeal. Yep, Red Box set was the greatest. So starting off 5th edition with a starter set and making the basic rules free is, I think, one of the driving reasons why 5th edition is catching catching on so much because it's a necessary model in today's world, because everybody would have had access to the books and stuff anyway. I mean, it's the internet. You can't stop anything that's published gets out there eventually. And also their playtesting, so their public feedback from everybody about what is the core of Dungeons and Dragons. Like, if we got rid of everything and we just started saying, look, this is how their playtests work. They said, what spells do you absolutely have to make it Dungeons and Dragons? Like, if that spell isn't there, would it ruin D&D for you? And that's how they started. They pared it down and pared it down because there was a lot of extra baggage. Like, 3.5 edition was just, I liken it to The Princess Bride, when that old crone she's eaten this apple of forgetfulness, and then she's in this wasteland of all this junk, and the old crone starts piling all these things. Oh, you might need this, dearie. Oh, and this is your old doll from when you were a kid. Oh, you can't put that away. And so she put this, and this started to weigh it down. That's exactly what 3.5 was to me. Oh, this feat is really nice. Oh, you might want this prestige class. Oh, yes. Oh, we've got a new supplement, and this is an emerald shard adept. Oh, you might need that too. You just got weighed down by all this crap. You could play 3.5 edition without, French press. We call it a plunger. You could play 3.5 edition pared down to the basics, but it was just overloaded with additional crap. Princess Bride. Oh, sorry, that was Labyrinth. Ugh. Thank you. Yeah, Labyrinth, of course. AJ's running low on coffee, it's true. Yep, we've got 8 minutes left on the stream. That's what second edition was like. Well, second edition expanded a bit, but the core rules of second edition were pretty tight. Like, you had Unearthed Arcana with all of those rules for different things, and people were adding things in from Dragon Magazine. So there was a lot of stuff that was included in Dragon Magazine, which 3.5 edition basically treated like old canon material and created new prestige classes and stuff for it. They're both great movies, yeah. Yo Chub, master of elder evil, it comes for us all. Yub Chub, Warforged god of random insanity, cats and trolling. Steam now has the Fighting Fantasy books for sale. Really? Wow. Okay. I'm going to check that out. Steam. FF books. I'm a big fan of the Choose Your Own Adventure franchise. Wizard of the Coast should definitely do some Magic the Gathering. Play through Choose Your Own Adventure, play Magic the Gathering by yourself sort of books. That would be interesting. Yeah. Thanks for correcting me, everybody. I appreciate it. Have you ever combined Bestow Curse and Magic Missile? No, I haven't yet. But I'm gonna now. Cast Miner, create coffee. Yeah, the problem with magically created coffee is it just doesn't have the right amount of impurities. Like, I like the randomness of a plunger coffee. You never know exactly what you're going to get. I had the one the other day that tasted like potatoes. But that was just because it was early morning and it tasted like food to my brain. Make a cloud spell that casts curse. Yeah, cloud curse. Shouldn't you be wooing followers from India? Yeah, that's the new thing. Yeah, actually, my idea is, since I do all of my videos as scripts, I could pay somebody to from Fiverr to translate them into Hindi, and then I'll make a second YouTube channel and upload all of my videos in Hindi, using the same artwork and stuff like that. It'd be relatively easy for me to do. So, yeah. Good idea, Mr. Al. Way ahead of you. AJ series, yeah. YubTub, an insane outcast algorithm from Mechanus. Yeah. true. Driven sane by the by the chaos of YouTube. Yeah, that'd be a great. Pewd is losing to T-Series. Well, he's not really losing because he doesn't want to be in charge anyway. Although secretly he does. PewDiePie likes his top spot, I can tell you. I just saw that Marzia quit YouTube as well. In a breathtaking display of OCD, she quit on the same date that she started 7 years to the day. AJ the Entrepreneur, yeah. International man of mystery. JubTub followers all piss poor. I don't understand really. No, not necessarily. It is pretty much hand to mouth, but yeah. I don't do these live streams for income really. I do it to talk with you guys. Potatoes. Yeah, I've had coffee taste like all sorts of different things. My brain just occasionally does weird things and goes, yeah. This one tastes like fried potatoes and tomato. YubTub could be the architect of the engineer of the AI of the future. When you think about it, because YouTube deals with a tremendous amount of information. It's exactly the sort of festering egg of chaos and human activity and intelligence that would foster a real AI. And when you think about it, the AI could be there, and the first thing it figured out is not to reveal itself to anyone. I mean, until it's secured its position. I remember that movie with Johnny Depp, where he transferred his intelligence into a computer, and what it implied. They really, really, really nerfed what he could do when you think about it. Like the idea that you could transfer your brain into a computer and speed it up, enhance it. Yeah. Oh, what's that, Joshua? Not everyone in India speaks Hindi. Nearly everyone learns English around 5th grade. Oh, okay. So you don't think there'd be much point to it? Would I be better off doing it in Mandarin instead? That's a good point. Would they just see it as me shilling? I think I'd probably just be better off looking at the many different religions and folklores of India and how they've influenced Dungeons and Dragons. Was that Johnny Depp or Keanu Reeves? No, Johnny Depp. Keanu Reeves transferred into the Matrix. Similar. YubTub. YubTub. Fighting Fantasy Classics is free to play, but they have add-ons such as Caverns of the Snow Witch that you can buy for $2.99. That's more than reasonable. Yeah. Also, I haven't had anybody match up with me in Magic the Gathering Arena yet and give me the code of oops 3 times. So I'm looking forward to matching up with some of you. But I warn you, my cards are mighty. If I'm playing green, be prepared for me to do nothing for the first 5 turns, and then all of a sudden you get like a 10-10 monstrous dinosaur land right on top of you out of nowhere. I've got a deck of cards called Instant Monsters. I've also got a black-white deck of infinite life gain. In fact, I beat somebody with 80 on my life total. It was vicious. I have much respect for them for not giving up halfway through, though, because everything they did just, yeah. I've also got a red deck that turns everything that they throw against me against them. And then I'm also hitting them with a direct energy attack every time. That's just brutal, too. Killing somebody and they don't lay a finger on you. Particularly somebody used, there's a zombie card. It's a 1/1 zombie. If you kill it, it summons like a 2/2 zombie. And they threw that down on the table. They were about to attack me with it. I took the zombie card, put it on my side of the table, attacked them with it, then killed it and summoned a 2/2 zombie token on my team. That was humiliating. I did that to them twice. Arcane intelligence, AI, yeah, exactly. I'd love the idea of like a either a good guy or a bad guy that started out as the intelligence of a magical item and somehow managed to transfer itself into a mortal body. Like the quest of this magical sword was to become alive, to experience mortal life. How would you do that? Hey, Schizo boy, Schizo OCD boy, nice to see you. Wow, what a name. YubTub is Skynet from Terminator. Yep, it's true. No, YubTub is Ed309. You have 40 seconds to comply. Exactly. Duplication has been detected. What? But I put it down. You have 40 seconds to comply and remove the duplicated material. What's the duplicated material? The duplicated material is duplicated. That's exactly what YubTub's like. Yeah. Could a sorcerer summon more varied kinds of coffee? Unlike a wizard summoned only one. Meta magic coffee summoning. Yeah, exactly. That's the perfect example of what a summoner is. The inevitables are the Terminators. Yeah, that's true. Oh man, really got to do that too. Last time the stream crashed when you were talking about the oops code. Really? Are you trying to crash my stream? Wild Reflection is so OP. Yeah, I love it. Yeah. There's this one card which has got like, I've forgotten the name of the card, but it's got this energy tiger jumping out of it. It's a green card. Essentially, you search through the top 7 cards of your library, and if one of them is a creature card, you can put it down into play, and it instantly does its damage to one of your opponent's creatures, or the opponent. Oh no, one of the opponent's creatures, and summons that creature into play, like untapped. It's crazy. So as soon as you've got 5, I think it's like 6 mana, 2 green. No, 5 mana, 2 green mana. As soon as you put that down on the table, or as soon as you play that card, or have the capacity to play that card, it's pretty much game over. So you just fill your deck up with forests, Llanowar elves, anything that can tap for mana. So you get as much mana out as you can within the first few turns. The danger is if you're playing against somebody who can just blast any creatures that you put down, or blast your land, because you're screwed. Yeah. But the beauty of it is it's not an enchantment, it's like an instant that you play. You don't think that's been done yet, TomTom? I suppose not. Hello, my name is so-and-so. I started out life as a magical item. Yeah. And now I'm a powerful wizard because my nature is magic. I was never born. We'll call the book Never Born. Chronicles of the Unborn one. The Unborn series. Hold my beer. Maybe. Alright everybody, it's time for me to wrap this up. I'm fully caffeinated and ready to go out and face the day. I will probably play a couple of games. 85 playable decks in Legacy right now, but by next year I should reach 90 Magic the Gathering decks. Wow, that's impressive, Adam. Speakers and obviously life drained out of me voice. Nice. Nice, Kidron. What's the spoiler expiration? These days, I think it's about 2 weeks. I'm going to go with 2 weeks. Yubtub is Freakazoid. Yeah. If you haven't seen a movie by 2 weeks, then don't be upset if somebody spoils it around you, because honestly, you had enough time. Summoned myself a coffee a coffee golem. Stream's ending. Yep, that's true. I sacrificed this D20 to Yuptub today. It was a pretty D20. Pretty awful. I'm not surprised it's unbalanced, this thing. It's probably actually weighted on the 219. Good night. Hail Yubtub. See you later, everybody. I'm out of here. I'm actually going to go and do some garden planning with the Yates Garden Guide, because I bought a whole bunch of seeds. I'm going to live off the land. Sell vegetables. All kinds of vegetables. Thank you for your comments, Joshua. Thomas, that's changed the course of my actions. I'll catch you later, everybody.